On September 7th, 2004, gaming was blessed with a title that would rock the world.
So good at wasting our time. We are the lazy generation. We are the lazy generation. We are the lazy generation now.
Burnout 3 Takedown, developed by Criterion Games under EA, was released right during the golden age of the PS2, where games like GTA San Andreas and Gran Turismo 4 were showing off the capabilities the system had. Burnout 3 was obviously the third game in the Burnout series, which had been running since 2001. I'll be honest, when I first played the original Burnout, I had no idea what was going on. You weren't supposed to crash into traffic, but when you do, you get money. The concept went right over my head back then. It wasn't until discovering a demo nestled within Need for Speed Underground 2 did I discover the beast that was Burnout 3. After that, I'm pretty sure I spent more time playing the demo of Burnout 3 than the actual game of Need for Speed. The game had the destructive spirit of my favorite game on PS2, Test Drive Eva Destruction. But it had one thing Test Drive didn't have, and that's the thrill of speed. The crisp graphics and unwavering frame rate were something to be desired back then, but how does it hold up 11 years later? Let's find out. This is the Review Every Game I Own challenge. This is Burnout 3 Takedown. There are 6 categories that I grade games on: gameplay, graphics, sound, soundtrack, menus, and replayability. In this review, I'll analyze all 6 of these aspects to see exactly how well made Burnout 3 really is. Burnout 3 is a street racing arcade-style game with a twist. Most racing games around this time didn't have a crash engine. Normally, you'd fly into traffic and only be slightly hindered and slowed, only to be able to recover immediately. If you hit traffic in Burnout 3, you'll be sent flying in a spectacular display, much like in LA Rush. The biggest difference here, though, is that you're given the ability to control your car while crashing and flying through the air. That enough is pretty incredible, but it doesn't stop there. Burnout games have had these crashing physics from the beginning, but new in Burnout 3 is the takedown system. And the tagline isn't takedown for no reason. You take down your opponents by slamming them, whacking into traffic, or running them into walls. You can even perform takedowns after being taken down yourself using aftertouch. Takedowns are important, especially in races, where the more takedowns you do without being taken down yourself will allow you to use more of your boost. I guess now's a good time to discuss how the cars drive. Cars handle stiff as a board and usually stay planted to the ground. Getting even half a second of airtime will net you a perfect airtime score. Running into your opponents usually won't affect you very much, though handling can get a little hectic in the corners. Drifting comes in especially handy if you want to maintain speeds through corners. But if the drift isn't perfectly executed, you'll usually lose ground to your rivals. There are 6 different car classes for you to use in career mode, along with 2 other unique classes for other events. Each car in the main classes needs to be unlocked by winning certain events in career mode. Cars in the 2 unique classes are unlocked through other means, whether it's getting a certain amount of takedowns or earning enough crash dollars. What are crash dollars, you may ask? New to Burnout 3 is a crash mode that is entirely devoted to the crashing physics engine the series has revered from the start. In these events, you'll need to dodge obstacles before ultimately crashing into a heavy traffic flow, and steer using aftertouch to collect multipliers and jihads. While this mode seems inherently mindless, much planning needs to go in, from your selection of vehicle to which score multiplier you should collect and when. Crash mode is where a lot of the fun in this game can be found, just for the novelty of it at the very least. Another mode is called Road Rage, which is a whale of a time. Your objective is to take down as many of your opponents as you can before your car is destroyed. Damage in this mode is interesting, because when you take down your opponents you do gain damage, but you will never lose until you yourself are taken down. But if you're taken down early on, however, you won't immediately lose and may not even reach critical damage levels. Once you reach those critical levels, however, your day is done when your time comes. As always in racing games, there exist time trial modes. Time trials in this game for me have been a means of screwing around with the crashing physics, trying to get the high flyer bonus whenever I wreck the car. Time trials become required in career mode for some events. Let's talk about career mode now. Your Burnout 3 career will take you from the US to Europe and the Far East. Events will need to be completed to gold to unlock the final missions in career mode, but only bronze is required at times to advance further through the story. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, there really isn't an actual story. You're just a racer doing stuff. Events in career mode involve races, crashes, championship, road rages, time trials rebranded as other events, and one-on-one challenges. All in all, the mechanics of each event are very well calibrated. If you have some semblance of an idea of what it is you're trying to do, you'll be fine for the most part. Just be careful not to crash. So that's it, right? I gave my case for why Burnout 3's gameplay is great. So are there any drawbacks at all to it? Yes. This game is fucking hard. I've only managed to complete this game to 98%, which, in case you were wondering, is over 170 races, crashes, time trials, blah 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 blah, all completed to gold medal standard. Time trials in career mode need to be absolutely flawless. You must, without question, boost through the entire stage, the entire time you're driving, without skipping a beat. You must execute every corner perfectly, and you cannot crash into traffic. Mess up once, and you have to restart, or you won't get a gold medal. And some of these tracks are upwards of 2 minutes long. That's 2 minutes of complete focus. That might not seem like much, but it is really wearing on your senses after a while. Races are fucking brutal as well. Your opponents do not hold anything back once you get far into the game. They will do everything in their power to wreck you, and if they succeed, the race may as well be over, because while they have physics-breaking rubber banding, once you fall to 14 seconds behind a leader, you are stuck 14 seconds behind the leader. And that's the game of Burnout 3. This game was put together with care, and all the mechanics work to near perfection, and on top of it all, it's really fun to play. I give Burnout 3 10 out of 10 for gameplay. Graphics are pretty good for PS2 standard. Traffic in Burnout 3 has significantly more detail put into it than the likes of Midnight Club 3 or even Need for Speed Underground 2. It's nothing amazing, but hey, it's better than nothing. Cars look very good, especially when compared to each other. I don't really like how most of the paint schemes are carbon copied across all the classes, but at least they look nice. What I like most is the folding on cars when you crash into them. Yeah, it's no BeamNG engine levels of folding, but it's certainly more entertaining than just slightly dinging your fenders as in LA Rush. I give Burnout 3 8 out of 10 for graphics. Sounds in Burnout 3 can only be described as incredibly satisfying. When you take down an opponent, the soundbite that plays is incredibly satisfying. When something explodes, the sound is incredibly satisfying. I love the slow motion sounds that play when you go into aftertouch during a crash. For that matter, I love that there's multiple sounds for hitting into things. Sound is generally high quality in this game. I give Burnout 3 9 out of 10 for sound. I know I say this in all my reviews, but wow, this soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal. This game has over 40 officially licensed songs, and each of them is wonderful. I've managed to do this entire review, and the background music is composed completely from songs straight out of the game. There's one song called Shake That Bush Again. I have no idea in the slightest what this song is supposed to be about. It's probably sex. Or drugs. It's usually sex or drugs when it comes to music. But it's still a good song, amazingly. In any case, I approve wholeheartedly about this soundtrack. I give Burnout 3 10 out of 10 for soundtrack. Up next is menus. You may wonder why I choose to rate menus for the overall game. I just think that being able to navigate exactly where you want to get in a game needs to be fluent and simple. Otherwise, you end up fiddling around with these things much longer than you want to be. I don't have any issues with the menus in this game. It's much like NASCAR 2005, where everything is where it should be logically placed, and there honestly isn't too many menus in the game to keep track of. Some of the menus do require you to wait for an animation to play before you can advance, but for the most part it isn't too intrusive. Oh, and there's a demo for a James Bond game hidden in one of the menus, so yeah, there's that. I give Burnout 3 9 out of 10 for menus. I said it in the gameplay that this game can be amazing just to screw around in. Crash mode provides an endless bout of hilarity whether you're actually trying to win or not. Multiplayer is also open in this game, which can add excitement as well. Between now and the time that I wrote the review, I have actually managed to complete the final championship in the game. I don't have any footage of it though, because I'm re-recording this right now to tell you this, but it wasn't easy, but I did it. And just the simple fact that I was able to come right back into the game again and win something that I've been trying the past 5 years to win is a testament to how replayable the game is. I give Burnout 3 9 out of 10 for replayability. And that's all my grading criteria out of the way. Time for the final score. Before that, let me mention a few things I haven't yet. There are tasks that you need to accomplish to unlock vehicles and 100% the game. They're pretty generic, like get 10 takedowns or find all the signature takedowns. Oh hey, I totally forgot to talk about signature takedowns. Yeah, they're pretty fun and even provide a photo opportunity. Be sure to find them all! Now for the final score. Keep in mind this is my opinion and personal experience I've took from the game. Your game may be broken and wrong if you have any different experiences. After grading the game over the 6 categories, I've come up with the final score of 10 out of 10. I have no regrets saying that this game is probably one of the best games on PS2, perhaps even one of the best games ever made. I've played this for hours upon hours, and not only is it fun, but it also provides a challenge you won't find in many other places. Burnout 3 was an incredible journey. And it's all the more depressing knowing that the next game, Burnout Revenge, would be, for the most part, a step down from what Burnout 3 was, and Burnout Paradise was like another series entirely. But not that that's a bad thing, though. It was when EA's other arcade racing series, Need for Speed, began implementing a crash physics engine like Burnout Paradise that it appeared Criterion's signature series had finally crashed its last race car. Luckily, this didn't tarnish the reputation of the classic Burnout games, and rather solidified them as a relic of changing technology of the older generation of consoles. Thanks for watching the review of Burnout 3 Takedown, and thanks for tuning in to Crash FM. This has been